I have dabbled with the idea of doing 75 hard for so long, but the more I looked into the rules, the more I realized it's not applicable to my current life stage or lifestyle. I travel too much, which is such a blessing, but I do also travel for work, and sometimes things come up and I simply would not be able to do the challenges. And yes, I could technically pause it, but that wouldn't be as satisfying. I really want to stick to something or some things every single day for 75 days. I am someone who really struggles with balance and with consistency. And probably the only consistent habit I've had my whole life is reading. But even then, I have fluctuated so much from reading slumps to binge reading all the time. And I've had that with fitness and with walking and with social life, with work and my motivation always. So I want to do 75 something, I'm calling it 75 soft, to kind of get me back on track and try and habit build, because the longer I'll do these things every day, 75 days, hopefully afterwards they just become part of my life. And it's not a challenge anymore, it's just what I do in my day-to-day. So let me take you through what I actually want to do in my 75 soft. And I think these are pretty attainable for anyone to join in and do. A rule that I'm doing slightly differently is, obviously the goal is to do every single day for 75 days straight. But let's say one day I don't meet a challenge, I will not get to pull off the sticky note off the wall, and then it extends the challenge. So it's not that I skip it and will never do that day, it's that let's say day 18, I don't do everything, well, day 19 becomes 18. So it's extending my 75 days. So hopefully I actually finish 75 days from now. But in case I don't, I'm still doing 75 days of the challenge. So it'll just have been more than 75 days in between day one and the end. For the challenges, number one, I brought some props with me to guide me. I want to journal every single day. I am very much near the end of this journal, and I started it at the end of 2024, in November of 2024. And I'm surprised, I have to say, that I hadn't finished it yet, because I journaled, I thought, a lot last year, but then when I was looking back at some entries, while I did journal more than I have in previous years, again, I still would go weeks, sometimes months without journaling. And I found that I often journal when something is wrong, but this year what I'd really love to do is journal all the time and just note down how I'm feeling, what's going on in my life, dreams, hopes, observations, even if they're positive. So then one day, it's really good for mindfulness and just to get things out of your brain, and probably helps me sleep better every time I journal, but also it'll be fun to look back on one day, because I'm someone who does read through my old entries. I know there are some people who don't, but I do. Honestly, the other day I had such a long entry because I was inspired by other things I had read. And then my latest entry, my recent one, was me reflecting on everything that I'd read about me just a year ago, but she felt like a completely different person. And since I'm near the end, I also wanted to show you, I do already have a journal ready to switch over to when I max that one out. And this is a Monet journal that I got in France when I was there last year. So I'm really excited to even get to my new journal, which is, there are two motivators for journaling more / every day, that I want to finish the journal, and that I want to just have 75 days and journal every day. So that's number one. Number two is that I want to read every single day. Even if it is one page, even if it is one sentence, it should be really easy, considering I have the Kindle app on my phone, I have a Kindle, and I have over 100 unread books in my house, and way more than that read books. So I did start this last night, which is why I'm showing you the book that is just near me, and I've already read today. I started my day by reading because last night I was so tired. I closed the book, but I didn't finish the chapter. So this morning when I woke up, I just wanted to finish the chapter that I had ended last night on. So already one thing we get to tick off for the day, which is so great. The next thing, I surprisingly am not putting drinking water on my list, because I honestly drink so much water. How you should gauge, because everyone needs a different amount based on your body and metabolism and everything, is that when you go to pee, it's pretty much clear. And that is me basically every day. I think I drink maybe 2 to 3 of these a day. It has 769 milliliters, and it's not really something I need to work on because I don't like pop and I don't like juice. I don't like coffee, so water is pretty much all that I drink. Sometimes Starbucks refreshers, but I'm trying to work on that. And actually, that is my 75 challenge. So where else other people would have a water challenge, my 75 challenge is no pink drinks from Starbucks. Anyone in my life knows that this is a really big goal for me, and I have quit or cut back or tried to stop drinking them for years, and I always fail. So I want to prove to myself that for 75 days, I don't need to have it. I didn't have it the past 2 days, and that's already a feat for me. But I'm starting over today, so I have to do 75 more days, and then hopefully I never want it again. We've got journaling, reading, no pink drink. I also really want to walk more. Winter is brutal. In Celsius, it gets to minus 25. I saw it's gonna be minus 25 next week. That's below 0 in Fahrenheit. It makes walking outside very difficult, but I do have a walking pad and I do go to the gym. And I actually realized this morning while I was at the gym, I was wearing my watch, I had about 2,000 steps. So just walking around the gym while I'm working out gets me some steps, which is good because I go about 3 times a week. And I want to use my walking pad more, which I have been doing this past week. It's really been like an easing into the 75 challenge, figuring out what is doable before I set an unrealistic goal. I'm going to keep it light and simple, and I'm going to say 30 minutes of walking. Anything longer than 30 minutes, I'm just worried I won't be able to do, and I don't want to go from 0 to 100. Now, in the summer, don't get me wrong, my goal is to have minimum 10,000 steps every single day, but because I'm doing this in January, and 75 days is 2.5 months, which means I'll still finish this in winter, I want to be realistic with myself. If I can do it outside, even better. I've been trying after dinner to force myself to walk outside, but my God, it is just so cold. It's so cold. And the very last challenge in my 75 soft is to gua sha every single day. That is a little face tool if you don't know, and I've been starting to do it every morning right when I wake up. I'll do a little 10-minute meditation that I find on YouTube. I've been liking the ones from the Daily Calm, and technically you should just be sitting there breathing, listening, but I gua sha while I do it and I really like it. I used to do that a lot in the summer, but I stopped doing it for months and months and months, and I don't know why. So I want to bring it back, and I'm going to be doing that in my challenge as well. So to recap, we have journal every day, read every day, walk for 30 minutes every day, no pink drinks, and then gua sha every day. And hopefully it's gua sha and meditate, but I'm not going to be strict on that. If I want to gua sha while I'm watching TV, while I'm in a meeting, while I'm reading, I will figure out when I can do it. Hopefully it's in the morning while I meditate, but I didn't want to add that in the challenge because I don't want to overforce myself. So let's get into the fun part of putting up the sticky notes that we get to tear down. I think I'm going to put it right next to my bed. I'll show you the wall. It's just white and blank. So every morning when I wake up, it's like right there, and it'll be so satisfying at the end of each day before I get into bed, I can peel off the sticky note. Ta-da! That took longer than I expected, and I am quite worried that the top row is going to fall, so I have tape. I tried it out on 24 randomly, and the tape holds well. It's just washi tape, so if they start falling randomly, I will tape them as a second measure. I also decided here to write out what all of the goals are, and I really like this. I think it fit perfectly just next to my bed there. My minimalistic self kind of is freaking out because there's more clutter here than I've ever seen in my life. But you know, instead of putting a print up, I just have sticky notes that I get to take down. I didn't write out the weeks, but that's fine. I know that there are 10. So that's okay. I know that there are 10. I don't need to know the weeks. And yeah, I'm so excited. I did end up putting on an audiobook. I was listening to it while I was doing that because that took a lot longer than I was expecting. Sticky note number 4 did in fact fall, and so I taped it down. I have a feeling I'm going to have to tape a few more, but we shall see. I'm so happy with it, honestly. I'm so excited to get things taken down as I do it. Such a good motivator. All right, we have the stickies up. I still haven't journaled actually. I went and had lunch and then had to work for the afternoon, and I will journal today. We cannot start day one without doing it. I will definitely journal. I'm excited to. That's the thing. I'm looking forward to it. That is all for this challenge. I'm really excited. I think I'm going to document this journey. Let's make these 75 days a success. I have high hopes. We're gonna do it. We can do it. I'm looking at my sticky notes and I'm so excited. This is going to be so satisfying. The visual of taking off a sticky. Okay, that is all from me for today. I hope you enjoyed this little official commencement of 75 soft challenge, and I'm excited. I cannot wait for it to be 75 days from now. I think it'll be the last week of March. Since today, by the way, I didn't announce it, it is Monday, January 19th, 2026. That is when I'm officially starting 75 soft. To Laura, 75 days from now, I'm so proud of you. I know you did every single day because you wanted to pull off those sticky notes, and I can't wait for me in the future to look back on this 75 days ago and realize how far I've come, and then to just keep doing all those habits every day. That is the goal. My end goal is to have incorporated this into my day-to-day and just make it a part of who I am, and we're gonna make that happen.
High five. Boom.